Geeks of Cascadia behind the DM screen. And now we review Storm King's Thunder.
Hey geeks, Blue Samurai here with
the Costosaurus, and to my right is...
Still Paul.
Welcome to Geeks of Cascadia, episode 31. Remember, we are your portal. See, I use the word portal.
That's very
and
good,
the game
yes.
design, con news, reviews, artists, anything that has to do with tabletop gaming here and around the world, but mostly kind of just here. But if you're tuning in, and I did notice on my the analytics of SoundCloud, there are some of you, one from Egypt.
Couple from
man.
Egypt.
Hey.
Thanks, Egypt.
Email us.
That's right.
Canada, never heard of that country before. I'll have to look on a map. UK, who are you? You keep listening
I got
to
busted
us.
for that last time.
We want to know who you are. We want to give you a T-shirt or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Brazil, Luxembourg, Italy.
Wow.
That's awesome. We're international.
Woo!
It's amazing. But
Yeah.
I'm going on. What do we got for con news?
Yeah, well, for con news is we've got a few coming up, and I mean there's a lot going on, but we're going to start off with Dragonflight that we have going on. That'll be their 39th Dragonflight.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
They've been doing those longer than I am old.
Yes.
I can't say that.
either.
But you guys are close, very close.
Yeah, thanks.
All right,
Yeah.
Thanks for mentioning that.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that would be August 24th through 26th. Also at the Bellevue Hilton. Honestly, that is just the best place I've probably gone to for a con. I feel like there's room to move around.
Uh-huh.
They're super nice, the staff there, and they are just so accommodating. So that'll be Dragonflight, the 39th one,
Awesome.
August 25th.
You keep on talking.
through
I'm going to move this because
26th.
you're blowing up this microphone. So
Yeah, it's,
All right,
it's
here we
the
go.
East Coast in me. I'm loud and obnoxious. And then we also have PAX coming up relatively soon, and that'll be August 31st to September 3rd, and that will be in the Seattle Convention Center. Is that what it's called? It will be in the center. That's the Sky Bridge. It's the Seattle Convention Center and
Washington
the
State.
Seattle.
Washington State.
Right over
There we
iPod.
go, Washington
What?
State Convention Center.
Is that what it's called?
I
And
think so,
that
yeah.
is now it's. I would say the majority of it is video games, but
is.
they've been increasing their tabletop and RPG presence a lot.
Yeah, they
a
have a
lot
whole
more.
section of tabletop games over there.
So that's been cool. They might even be sold out by now. I don't know. I
You'll
heard
see me
I heard
there.
they sell out
I'll
so
be there.
fast. I'll probably be there at least
And
today.
OrcaCon has a table there. Stop by and say hi.
Yes.
Woohoo! And then right around that time, a few days after PAX, there is Rose City Comic Con, which is going to be down south. They are going to have some pretty cool guests, and that'll be from September 7th through September 9th. So they get guests up there sometimes that we don't get down here, but it's still a Northwest convention, as Steve reminded me, so that still might be cool to
Oh,
just to
do
get
I
up
see
there.
a picture of Khaleesi? No, that is.
No, that is not.
Never
No,
mind.
don't. You don't
Hold
want.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't really want everyone to just get all excited. No, if she was there, I would pay $50 for a hug. But David Tennant will be there.
Oh, wow. I would pay $50 for
Okay.
a hug from David Tennant.
Yeah.
What about Evangeline Lilly?
Sure.
Okay.
She's Wasp in the upcoming.
She is.
Wasp.
Oh, I did
She
not know
is.
that.
She was also, I forgot the name of the elf, but she was also in The Hobbit, played the elf they added that wasn't from the books. Felicia Day.
Does that upset you?
Greg Sulkin. Don't know who that is. No, I liked it. John
That was a good
Burrowman.
addition.
Jonathan Frakes. Okay, so
Oh my God.
my wife and I, we when he came up to PAX, we paid to get a picture with him. That dude is tall, man. Like it was with him, and it was with I always forget his name, Brent Spiner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Data, yeah. And so it was them and those two together. We were taking pictures with both of them.
Wow.
They were-
Are you kidding me?
They were so freaking
God.
hilarious and fun. Like you came, they're like,
Pretty
"Hey, come over here!" And then like,
You just made Paul
like
jealous.
they just
know.
like
Big
they were giving
trekker.
like big squeezes and
Oh,
joking and
geez.
just seeing those two actors together, like they were having a blast and joking.
By the way, if you're looking for a podcast to listen to, Star Trek The Next Conversation is great.
So anyways, they have a lot of other ones. I mean, Carl Urban is there. Just Michael Dorn, so you can see Worf, Michael Rooker. I mean, there's just the list just goes on. I'm not going to read every single one through there, but there's definitely a lot. Val Kilmer. Are we still? I didn't know Val
Oops.
Kilmer was still alive. Anyways, Val Kilmer will be there.
God.
I thought he popped
didn't
off.
know he was still
No,
on.
I actually thought he popped off a while ago. So that'll be Rose City Comic Con. And
Val
then
Kilmer, if you're listening, we're really sorry about that.
just sorry,
You were great
I
in
haven't
this
seen
thing.
He
you.
was going to come on our podcast. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, next week, but now he's not going
I stopped
to.
watching your stuff after Batman. So we also then have OrcaCon.
Great con.
I've heard that it's okay.
I've been to that one.
Oh wait, no, our OrcaCon. No, yeah, I've heard it's amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Yes.
That's right. Yes, it is amazing.
So that will be at the beginning of 2019. So that'll be January 11th through 13th. Bellevue Hilton. I would definitely advise keeping your eye on the website because we are just constantly having more things go live. You know, for submitting games that you want to play. You know, it's constantly being uploaded with who new celebrity guests are.
Yes,
And-
such as we've got
Yeah.
Catherine Cross, Jeremy Crawford, Liz Courts, Shannon T. Bryant, Sylvia Artiga, and many more. We just added some to the website, orcacon.org.
I heard there's a famous podcast crew that will be there too.
Yeah.
Ooh, that must be Boards Alive.
Right
Boards
here.
Alive.
Oh, us.
Oh, what? Come on,
Board,
man.
I mean, they're pretty amazing.
It's date night is great.
Oh my gosh, I love It's Date Night. They're just they're just great people.
I've been listening to their D&D adventure 2 and 4s.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
And it's cool to listen to it and be like, those two dudes are teachers, and like I really love. I follow them on Twitter, and I really love it when they're posting
And they're
stuff
so
about.
they're so nice to us too.
Yeah, that's just how they are. They're just legit
Yeah.
nice people and good people.
Have you noticed that when we
Like,
ask,
I would be with them with the zombie
Uh-huh.
apocalypse because they wouldn't try to eat me like you two would.
and you, I love it when we ask them to like come on our show and they have that look. It's like, oh, that's you're, yeah,
Oh, that's cute.
yeah, it's cute.
That's cute.
Yeah, no, those guys are awesome. I love.
Yeah,
I
they're
love
awesome.
you
They're
guys.
great.
Can you give me a T-shirt? That'd be kind of cool. Okay, what else we got?
Oh well, that would mean that's pretty much it for con
There's
news.
one con I want to plug. It's Opticon. It is in Squim, August
for that.
3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's a game playing
Oh,
convention.
okay.
There are tickets at the door, but August 3rd, 4th, and 5th in Squim, Opticon. It's opticon.org. OPTTACON.
Okay, great. Sounds like a transformer.
It's supposed to. Look at the picture.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
You know what that looks
check
like?
out their website.
It looks like an extremely overweight Black Bolt from Marvel.
Quick question: can you get hotel rooms at OrcaCon?
Yes.
H word, yeah.
At the Orcacon price.
Really?
Yes.
What is
Where
that?
would you go?
You would go to orcacon.org and click the thing for the hotels and follow that link.
The thing.
Yes, you click
button.
hotels. the
Oh
hotel.
yes. Okay.
A button thing on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't make internet things.
Yes. Well, that's okay. All right. So what do we got for Kickstarter?
So there's a really cool Kickstarter. I am currently backing this because I just love our local stuff. This is a local person, so this is a Seattle-based Kickstarter right now called Fantastic Factories.
You know, we interviewed him.
We interviewed him.
Yeah. Well, you guys interviewed him.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But yeah. So yeah, Joseph Chen.
Don't
fan-
take it personally.
fantastic. Whatever, Mr.
That's
I
like-
went to Gen
That's
Con.
like that was Dragonflight. It's like in the tens somewhere, I think.
Joe. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So he has the game up there, Fantastic Factories. It's dice placement, which I enjoy, and engine building. It's looking really good right now. I mean, their goal was $15,437.
Yeah.
But
That
they're
was
at,
their goal.
yeah, but they're at almost $88,000. Again,
Hell, good job.
He's been working this for a long time.
Yeah,
I
he
try
did.
to back locals, people who've been on our show, just friends in general. But regardless, I would have backed this because it's so cool that it's not necessarily a big board, but it's using different cards with variable powers, and you're building that engine, which I just love doing that in games so much.
So when does it end?
Yes, it ends in 17 days from the moment we're doing this podcast, which is June 11th.
Ooh, that means
So
we
that
gotta
means
get
on the
this thing-
28th, June 28th, it will be ending.
we
But
gotta get
they've
this thing up then.
and they've hit a lot of stretch goals, which is
Cool.
really, really cool. So you would be supporting your local group. Good
It's
guy.
so cool when we get people that have been on our podcast and they're doing really well.
Yeah,
Chad
very cool.
Gray.
Chad Gray,
that was awesome.
Those games just shipped. I just got my notification.
That is cool.
And they're going to the distribution
That's right.
center or whatever they call that.
Mhm.
Hopefully, if there's no problem crossing the border, very soon.
Goat
Nice.
Fish. So
Goat
check
Fish.
it out. It's one of our episodes.
Speaking of which,
Mhm.
I just got a game in that. You know what? I'll get to that in a moment, or I'm going to totally lose track. Another Kickstarter game right now, and I'll start going off about it. Vast. So those people who have played Vast, it is an asymmetric game. I know people say, "Oh, I've never played a game like this before." About games, we're like, "Yeah, you've probably played a game with that mechanic." I have legitimately never played a game like Vast before because each player not just has a different role, but a completely different board, like completely different mechanisms. So if I play as the cave, I'm laying down tiles. So I have heavy tile placement. I have variable powers that I can use to try to do cave-ins. If I play as the goblins, I'm not tile laying. Instead, I'm having to move through differently. I have different cubes that represent my little clans moving through. So if I play as the cave, I'm not going to know how to play as goblins. I'm going to have to learn how to play as that. If I play as goblins, I'm going to have to learn separately how to play as the dragon.
How
So
do you know all this?
I backed it and I love it. And I played with Jesse at the last time I played was with Jesse at OrcaCon last year, and it was awesome. So, anyways, they have a predecessor to that. It's not an expansion. It's kind of its own little baby, and it's actually called Vast Mysterious Manor. So it uses that asymmetric aspect that is so, I think, just part of the identity of that game.
And
then they
show
put it
for the
into
listeners, what does asymmetric mean?
Asymmetric means that everybody is doing the by definition, I don't know. So it's like I can visualize it. So yeah, asymmetric is you have where
It sounded cool.
1, 2, 3, 4 people. They're each doing something at the same time, and they're all doing their own separate thing, but all together.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
I love
That
it.
makes good sense for
And if that is not it, you can email us at geeksofcascadia@gmail.com or get us on Facebook or Twitter at the same name.
or even take a picture of making a face
That's why
on
we
it
can
for
plug it
Instagram.
in there.
Hey Siri, what does asymmetric mean?
Oh, good lord.
Hey Siri, what does asymmetric mean? Let's see what she says.
She's not talking to us right now.
She just said having parts.
Hey guys, you're probably wondering what happened. I lost the rest of the intro and all of the outro. I'm really sorry. It was really funny. If you want to partake in that, it's going to be available in podcast audio only form on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Apple iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. But for the YouTube one, we lost that, so you're going to just get me giving a real quick summary. We did a spoilerific review of Storm King's Thunder, and that's what's following next. We're calling this new segment Behind the DM Screen, where we actually talk to our DM and talk to him about how he ran through the game and the decisions he made and things he liked and things he and we didn't like. We pretty much liked everything. But so that's what's going on here. And I'm just going to throw to the review of Storm King's Thunder from Wizards of the Coast.
Hey geeks, welcome to a new segment called Behind the DM Screen, where we do reviews of the latest D&D products. Actually, this is not that latest, but it's been out for about 2 years or so.
We did have to play through
Right.
it, and it took us a while.
What we're going to try to do is we'll play these whole things and we'll do these reviews. And the first one we're doing is Storm King's Thunder. And with me, of course, I am Blue Samurai, and we have...
I'm Rebecca.
I'm still Paul.
I'm Steve.
If you don't know who Steve is, we talk about him a lot. He's our DM.
Do you?
Well, we do a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you going to sue us? Oh, no. Okay.
All good things.
So let's talk about Storm King's Thunder. Storm King's Thunder came out about 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago.
Something like that.
And a product by Wizards of the Coast. Obviously, it's a part of its D&D's 5th edition. To start off, let's just say it's the campaign starts off with the adventurers really taking a choice whether they want to do a published adventure, other published adventures, or the DM can go right into it with Chapter 1, The Great Upheaval. But really and we'll go into the DM about this, but really it's an adventure that starts off at 5th level. And really, what's great about this is even though you can follow a linear path, it gives you lots of options along the way. So it's kind of like you kind of free play in a way.
It really is. It's a lot like playing, more like playing Witcher 3
Right.
than Final Fantasy 7.
Right. You got a lot of side quests, and really it begins with giants attacking a town or city, and you kind of react to that, and then you kind of go to your choices of 3 different cities. You can either go Triabor, Golden Fields, or I can't even pronounce this one.
Shandar.
Yes, I think that's why he didn't pick that one, because you can't pronounce it. So we went to Golden Fields first. After that, you are set on in a path where you have to go find some talismans or old artifacts,
Wasn't
if you
there a
will.
book and a hole?
That was
That was
way
it.
before.
Really?
Way before.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And then you have to find these conches, which
Conchs.
teleport you
Conchs.
to
Conchs.
the Maelstrom, where you get to find King Hecaton. We'll go into all that later. By the way, this is spoilerific.
Oh, yes.
Tons of
So
spoilers.
turn it off now.
That's right. Unless you're
Get a spoiler warning
Unless you're
before you
DM,
start
maybe this is
talking.
a good thing for you. But in the end, you fix the ordning, which is why this whole thing is going on in the first place.
Yeah.
It's the ordning, which is the way giants are placed in this political thing,
Yeah, it's the pecking
association.
order of giants.
Right, it's the pecking order.
The pecking order of giants is ordained by their god.
Yes.
And it's kind of gone, and there's a lot of chaos, and everybody's trying to go to the top. And the adventurers are probably just trying to make things go back to the way they were.
Right,
So
and
they stop, attacking towns and whatnot.
Right, the whole thing is really all, you get all these giant groups, storm giants and frost giants, are competing, and then you've got dragons in the background
Yeah.
doing all this. And of course, we'll have the chart, the flow chart there, as I described it, as you'll see, that it shows you exactly how to go from start to finish with different options. But before we actually go talk to DM and we all talk about this, let's give you how we were all set up. So my character was a fighter, though it was a samurai class, subclass type fighter. What about you?
I was a barbarian, female barbarian. I was new. I've never played this before, so I thought it would be a little simpler without spells and
Mhm.
whatnot. I quickly wanted spells.
What path did you do?
We did the Totem Warrior. It wasn't super duper helpful. I kind of wish I did the Berserker instead, just so we
Mhm.
could go like ape
Crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. Yes.
But it was fun. It was cool. I learned a lot, and I actually thought that the DM was, because I'm new to this, it just sounded like it was just all made up. I didn't even know there was a.
It was a book.
I didn't even know all that info was behind the.
Well, yeah, Steve
partition.
wrote this
It
whole
was
book.
great.
too.
It's still
Right.
mostly just made up.
Yeah.
It was
People
really well
agree
done.
upon certain parts.
Absolutely, had a great time.
And Paul, who'd you have as a character?
I was a Wood Elf Warlock named Upari Feathermoon.
I thought you were a wizard.
Yeah, here we go.
A wizard has
No,
spell
you guys are
slots.
classist, so first I want to point that out. It's not my fault. I only had 2 spells.
2 spells and take a nap.
2 spells and take a nap.
Does that sound
That
familiar?
sounds like a
That's
good
how you
deal.
roll a warlock.
Excellent.
I could have chosen. This is also my first campaign, and if I'd made different choices, my character could have been more useful. But
You did good things.
You made up for
You did good
usefulness in
things.
being entertaining.
Right.
that's
This
good.
character
And you
was
kept the
very
notes.
entertaining.
That's good.
And
No
we,
one
all,
else was
and we
doing it.
also, who are not with us because they're shy or they're in another state, we had a thief character and we also had a cleric. And I
But
think
we started off
all,
with a whole
We
bunch
also
of
had
different
5
people.
other people.
Well,
we did,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think all around, if you look at the group,
Yeah.
it was really well balanced. You had your 2 tanks, you had your healer, and you had your kind of outranged folks like our spellcaster and sometimes our thief. And it was good to have a thief. Well, boy, we didn't have a thief for the
It was
longest
very
time,
hard.
He was
and that
very
sucked.
handy. He was very handy.
So if you're playing this game, please have a thief because you just we had a hard time. I think we were just bashing
Who
down
wants,
doors.
who
and
wants to
chests.
go up and scout this
Yeah.
area and get attacked? Because
Right.
everybody sees them this time.
So Steve, you've been playing D&D for a long time.
Yeah, well, I started in like 79 or 80 with
Right.
Wow,
the Blue Book,
Yeah.
and came with B2, Keep on the Borderlands. And we played a bunch. We kind of, like late 80s, switched to a bunch of other games. Didn't really play much of 2nd edition. Kind of came back and played 3rd edition. I DM'd some and played some, and kind of got back out about the time of 3.5. Skipped 4th edition. I mean, I think I played it twice, and then I'd been coming back with 5th edition. You know, played in Barry's campaigns that he's run, and then when he moved to Tacoma, kind of took the group
Right.
over right
Yeah.
about the start of. With this campaign, I've been running at the game store here, and went for something like 6-8 months, playing, getting to 5th level so he could start Storm King's Thunder, and I was a player in that campaign, and we got there, and our DM Barry
You were
moved to
Bard,
Tacoma.
right? You were
Yeah, I was
Bard,
Bard.
yeah.
And before we got to 5th level, we were playing one of the Adventures League, I believe,
It's
adventures that were kind of tied
Scourge
to.
of the Sword Coast. It's
Right.
actually D&D Next
Mhm.
adventure that came out when they were playtesting D&D Next before they officially announced it as 5th edition, or officially released as 5th edition. So he played us through that. That got us to 5th, and then he jetted out. He's like, "You want to take over the group?" And so I bought
Yes.
Storm King's Thunder, and this is my first time DMing 5th edition, probably first time actually DMing
Sound
proper
effects
D&D.
were great.
So we started
I
off.
just want to put
So we traditionally start off with Storm King's Thunder with an attack on. It's called Nightstone, I believe.
Yeah,
town
that was
Nightstone?
actually so the way Storm King's Thunder works, you really start off at 5th level, but if you want to start a party at first, you can go through Nightstone, which is this town that gets attacked by cloud giants and destroyed.
Why did they
And you
start
go
them
on this-
at 5th?
Well, that's
It's
Is that
just kind
common?
of
Is that a common thing? Because the first few levels.
Well, characters are more fun
Yeah.
at 5th.
Well. that's-
well, and usually, I mean, unless you have a book to go first level all the way to 20th, either has to be super big or very narrow. You're going to do this, with no real room for going around doing
Right.
other things. So this one goes like 5th to 11th.
So this is like the middle school.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But they have a chapter in there. If you want to start it first, you can go to Nightstone. Start in Nightstone, being just after it was attacked, and go and save some people and whatnot. And it just kind of is a, thing to just bump you up to 5th level
Yeah.
super quick. Because this does like milestone levels where they're saying when you get to this part, they should be this level. This part,
Right.
they should be this level.
So just go on a tangent, just on a quick tangent here, and I want to ask you this question as a DM and the listeners out there: is it better, or is it easier to just hit these milestones for levels, or do experience points? It seemed like you were doing a little bit of both.
I
on that
was
one.
tracking experience points,
Okay.
but then I was trying to match up with the milestones. When you get to the kind of wander around forever, was it the Savage Frontier Chapter 3? I gave you a bunch of leads, let you go off and do a bunch of stuff, and I kept track of experience points, and when I figured you got to the right level to go on, that's when I triggered the
Okay.
next event.
Okay.
Right.
But I wanted to kind of do experience points my first time, just to see kind of the natural flow of how much it takes for you guys to really level up and stuff.
So as the adventure starts off with Nightstone, with an
Yeah.
attack on it, and then the adventures go in there. Talk about how you want the adventures, the party to go a certain way, but we're so fixated on. So what happens is that I believe cloud giants come in and they take this artifact
Yeah.
from an obelisk from the town, just kind of sets
Yes.
it off. We show up and try to save the day, but it's after the fact.
Yeah.
And we were so fixated on the obelisk. Like, why'd they take the obelisk?
Yeah.
Is there art about the obelisk? I remember I
Yes,
asked about that.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's what players do.
Yeah.
It's like there's this
Mhm.
doesn't matter. There's no reason for it to be there other than
It's a
look, a
red
thing
herring.
happened.
It's
Yeah, well, it's
so-
not even a red
seems
herring.
so
It was just
Right.
kind of like, well, it was pointless.
It's important.
Oh, well, it
It's on
does,
our
yeah.
side.
Yeah, from
Right.
your side.
It
And
is.
this is, I guess, where I learned a lot from playing this or running this. Because, again, I hadn't really run a game of D&D in
Mhm.
10 years at least. Is portioning out information.
Yeah.
When you get just a few pieces of information, those are super important pieces of information. People focus on them, whether they're important or not.
Right.
I won't do
Right.
that, right? Yeah, so there were a bunch of plate times during the adventure where you guys were like, I don't know what to do next. And there were things I wanted you to know before you could get somewhere, but the act of getting you to know that can be kind of difficult, especially when there's a ton of stuff.
I think from our perspective, we were thinking if we could find out why they grabbed the obelisk, we could get clues. But obviously, that was just a red herring.
It was just a red herring, but you kept going back to
So, why did you choose Golden Fields? Because in the adventure, if you look at the adventure flow chart, after the Nightstone attack, the DM has the choice of putting you on this path to these 3 different cities. Tell us why you wanted to do Golden Fields.
Sounds like a pretty place.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty close to you guys. That helps. Bryn Shandar is like way up north, and
How to pronounce
Can't
too.
say it.
Yeah.
well, it was Golden Fields was really down to Golden Fields and Tribor, because those are the 2 close ones. Golden Fields was close, and I just more than Tribor. I thought it was a little more flavorful.
It was a
a few more
really fun
better
battle.
NPCs. It was a cooler battle, I thought.
Is
Even
that
though
where you got hit by
that's
the
where I
cow?
got hit by
Well,
the cow and
that's
died.
where you got hit
Right.
by
But
the
it was
cow. I
still-
think you got hit by a pig.
It was still a really fun battle.
Those were the
Yeah.
days.
And like Tribor, I think is like fire giants, so you guys were in the 5th level. So.
Oh yeah.
Which is another thing, just if you're going to play this game, you have to have a healer in this one, because the amount of damage these giants do against
Yes.
you, like they'll throw cows at you. Well, if the DM is imaginative, the DM will have the giant throw whatever they can find around you.
What
Cows.
did we do in the interim when Don, our cleric, moved to Tacoma?
Oh, that's
What did
right.
we
Well,
do?
Nick came in
Nick-
pretty quick.
Yeah,
He
we
came
had
in
to.
right-
Yeah, we had to clear.
That was
he
him.
came right back. We were just, you guys were down a thief for a while. But.
So, anyway, so what? So that was you read
So it
all
was,
3.
I read all 3, and that seemed like I can see myself doing this one better. It made a little more sense. It seemed more interesting to me, so it's just a personal preference choice on my part.
Now later on, we go to the Savage Frontier, and this is where I want to ask Paul. Paul, you were our note taker.
Still
Yeah.
Still Paul. Still Paul. Paul, what's the experience with that? You know, you've got to write down all these names,
Yes.
all these NPC,
Yes.
all these
The more you
places.
You
drink,
need to be
And of
more
course, nobody else wants to do it
No.
because it's the crappiest job in the world.
You
Because
need
I
to-
don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, and I was doing it before I became GM,
Uh.
so then it was, well,
I was going to do
somebody's
it.
got to take over
It was
because I'm
my
not going
first
to take
time
your notes.
playing.
for
I was
you.
trying to take notes like Paul, and then I just saw his notes
Yeah.
were fine, and I stopped.
You need to be more organized. I found that my notes would start out great at the beginning of the session. Then as I had more beer, my notes would get more and more vague.
You just
and
write down
short.
names.
Right.
Killed
Just maybe a
kobolds.
name.
But I think we can all agree here that the notes were key. Because
Yes.
a lot of in Storm King's Thunder, there'll be NPCs that you'll see later on. And you're going to have to know some of the backstory. Because there's a little bit of politics involved. in
There's a
some of this.
bunch of politics. I think the hardest part for me was trying to work in. So when you went to like Maelstrom and all that later and got involved in the politics, you would know what was going on rather than just dropping in blind. I don't know that I did a great job of it. I've kind of, I think, have a system for my next sessions I run. I'm really going to just go through and write down. I've already started it. Here's a list of all the things I think they should know by here, they should know by here, they should know by here. Because there's usually a lot of really flavorful backstory that gets lost because you show up there and then they try and kill you and try and kill them, and then it's like, oh, I didn't know this was this and this. So somehow it's just like, I don't know how I'm going to tell you guys this, but you guys are going to somehow find this out before you get
You
here.
could have it be on signs on the road.
Yeah, something like,
Traveling,
you know,
Burnish
hobo or
Days.
something.
Yes.
It's like,
And if you look at Storm King's Thunder, if you read through the module, if you will, or the campaign book, it has all these different places you can go to.
Yeah.
How did you, as a DM, did you want to guide us in a certain direction, or was it, hey, I'm gonna let these guys wander for a long time
Were you trying to mess
until they
with
get
us?
to a certain level?
was I
At
trying
any
to-
point in time?
I don't know.
Quite the poker
Well, you
face.
can't really just let them wander. Because again, the big thing is, it sucks playing when you know nothing going on, and people get bored, people get frustrated. So you always have to have at least a couple of things out there. The more the better. I think it's better to kind of, oversaturate them with things to do
Right.
than undersaturate them. Because there were some hooks on little side quests and things you guys never
Okay.
followed up.
So I know some
Oh.
one side quest where you want us to deliver, I think, beer, but is it beer or
Saddles?
shoes or saddles? Saddles.
Yeah.
Yes. So was
Noner's
that
Hold.
because I couldn't? Now there wasn't a side quest where you're helping deliver beer barrels. I didn't see anything about saddles. Maybe I missed
Well,
it
there's
here.
yeah, I can't remember
And-
where. There's one where you just kind of Nonor's Hold was the haunted
Right?
castle.
Did you make up the haunted part?
Well, it's in there.
Mhm.
If you look at the nice thing is kind of the chapter 3
Mhm.
is really it's just almost like a gazetteer of the whole small
Right.
towns of the Sword Coast with little things that are
Mhm.
going on here and there. I kind of pointed you there, and there is the saddle delivery, but really you just deliver it and leave. And so I went and expanded it out to the
Okay.
rest
So
of
this
the-
is where you added your flavor.
Yeah.
into it.
Okay.
and
That's
that
cool.
well,
That's
the
good.
actual going in there and whatnot was I kind of just made all that.
That was great.
And Rebecca and I, we don't like to do a lot of role play. We like to beat things up.
Yeah, we did.
And I know for us, going from the very first all the way through the Savage Frontier it was our time. We beat a lot of people up. So what did you
yeah.
think about that, Rebecca? With the whole, did you feel that there was maybe a balanced part of role playing and fighting involved? What did you think about that?
I do. Like I said, it was brand spanking new. I still feel very new, and I quickly realized that your strength is only great if you roll well.
Mhm.
So, but no, I liked it. There are times when you needed someone to, like I don't know, see through a wall or talk some other language or something, and that wasn't what we did. And
Mhm.
then there's just times
We
when
just
you
kill
need to-
things.
I recall I learned about Leroy
I'm
Jenkins.
pretty sure
and-
Gary the cleric killed things. You guys softened him up.
Oh man, it was painful when you just beat him, but you don't
Right.
get the kill, and then
Yes,
someone rolls a little
yes.
like 5 and gets
Well, and I felt like the first part was a little more combat, like the whole hack and slash, but a little bit of role play. But the last
end
part
was very.
was
Yeah.
really role play, which I enjoy. But you really had to think on your feet on some of this stuff. And I think the real challenge for us was when, and I forgot the name of the town, but it had the floating casino.
Oh.
That's Yartar,
And-
and that's the
Yeah,
Grand
yeah.
Dog.
And now, just to make sure, I don't want to make sure that we're off on this. Was that in chapter 4, the chosen path? Or is that in this-
Yartar.
or chapter 3? We're looking at the
So,
flowchart.
yeah, so Yartar features later, and I wanted you to get there first, so when you went there later, you would go, oh yeah,
Okay.
I know this
Right.
place.
Okay.
I think it's in chapter 3 part of it, but
Mhm.
really it shows up later. I don't know, I'm looking at the chapters. One of the later chapters when you go back to actually kind of
So that was on
against the cult. But
that was on
mostly
purpose for us to go there first.
I wanted
Okay.
to kind of guide you there. So mostly when you find the medallion, you like recognize them. Oh yeah, we were just there.
So
We know this place.
now, when we were on the gambling barge, the second time, and Nick,
Some of you were under
That was
it.
awesome.
some of
Right.
us were
That was
under
awesome.
So Paul, could you set up the scene though, like why we were on the
it.
barge?
Okay,
before
we
did
had to
this?
go to the barge because we knew we needed to go there because that's where I can never remember the name of this group, the Kraken Society.
Yes.
Yes.
The Kraken. We knew there were people from the Kraken Society there, and we had to look into these people and figure out who they were, and at least get some information. So, but they already knew who we were on site, basically, and they knew that we didn't have their best interest in mind.
No.
Oh, there's that one mind reader.
Right.
check.
Yeah.
There's the bond reader check.
Right. And so we were on the boat,
She's just
and
about
we were
to
trying
discover
to
us.
do an Ocean's 11 type thing,
Exactly.
right? And gather information and. So what happened
They,
then?
they
We
just
got made.
we got made. They figured out who we were.
Right, and that was because I failed a check, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I don't
She
remember that.
It was a mind reader.
Yeah.
Failed check,
'Cause
and
you
the
were
mind
not having
and the
pure
telepath
thoughts.
told me to jump off the bow of the ship,
Which you
But-
did.
but-
I mean,
which
good
I was
for you.
about to
But
do.
then-
No, not about to do. You did.
Then we knew we needed a distraction.
Gary, our
so
cleric.
Gary the cleric
Come on back in,
Oh, hi,
Gary.
Gary.
cast
Yeah.
part water underneath the gambling barge,
Yes.
which was brilliant for a distraction.
That was fun.
And so
It distracted everybody.
So did your engineering and sailing background come into play here at all?
Yeah, I figured, you know, if you have a boat that's sitting on water, and then you have no water, now you have a boat on the ground.
Yeah.
That's pure knowledge.
And then-
Okay.
Gary failed his concentration check for dropping, bam, and all the water came back.
So that's a classic example of how you
Then I winged it from
Yeah,
there.
that was great.
right. This is a classic example how you think a campaign's going to go, and all of a sudden someone comes up with an idea such as, well, I'll just use the controlling water spell,
Part water.
part water, and I'll just part the water in front of this ship.
That was some quiet brilliance.
Yes.
Did you?
Love it.
What was your thought on that, Steve? And what?
Yeah, what did you think?
What did I think? I thought, like, you know, I mean, what are you going to do? But we went with it. I mean, okay, so we did that. And actually, he parted under half the boat. So it tipped and went bam. All the water came, everybody went
Slid
bam.
forward.
Right.
Water came back in and it popped back up to the surface. It hit you in the head.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
You lived through it though. And then there was just
So at some point,
chaos, and you guys took advantage of the chaos.
That's right.
And at some point later on, after this, we meet up with an airship.
Well, you met up with Harshnag.
Oh, that's right, Harshnag.
That's right.
Which, according to the
Or as you call
campaign,
him, hashtag.
Harshnag is used as a tool for the DM to take to put the adventurers back on the path. I guess
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and,
so,
and
were we wandering way too much? Is that why you brought
no,
Harshnag
no,
in?
really, it came down to me. You guys were going to wander around, which you did, and I kept kind of feeding you. Okay, you can go here, here, here. At some point, when you got, I think, 7th level or something, I wanted you to clear out because I knew there were like 5 giant strongholds, and the adventure says, you know, do one of them. I wanted to do more and more, so I figured I would do the hill giants first before you even go to them.
Right,
later on.
that seemed to come up even earlier. I
Well,
think.
it did. Per the module, it's like one of the 5, but I figured it's low enough level. Once you hit about 7th, I'll let you guys take out the hill giants. That's when you found
Okay.
Gog with his note.
Yeah.
It
Mhm.
was like
Right.
Guh. Was it Guh?
Well, he was one of Guz's
Okay.
scouts.
And Moog in the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of did that. You guys went and you took out the hill giants. I actually toned it down a little bit, but not that much. You did good.
Right.
And so you got the first one done. Then I had a hashtag. You guys had me doing
We
it
called Harshnag hashtag so
No,
many
you-
times.
you-
Okay, I did.
incessantly until I started doing it. So then he got you going towards the Oracle and back on path. So I figured that was a good. You want to be about 7th level or so. I wanted you guys to do one of the giant strongholds before you need to technically do a giant stronghold for the, for the actual plot. Then he could get you go. I brought him in to go. Hey, we need to go see the Oracle, and then.
Did we need the conch, like more than one conch, or was that something that you?
I just did that because I figured that's a good way of getting you to
Yeah.
like 3 giant
That
strongholds
was
instead
good.
of 1
Yeah.
giant
So that was
stronghold.
Made
good.
good
So
sense.
you have to get to the Maelstrom. You have to get to I forgot the name of the storm giant king.
Hecaton.
Hecaton. You had to get these conches. Well, actually, you just needed a conch and conchs. And so Steve, the DM, because you want us to go to these different.
Oh yeah, I mean
things,
they give
had
you
that in
these
there. That's pretty
5
good.
cool
Right.
giant strongholds
Yeah.
and pick one. No, I don't want
And
to
we
pick
only
one.
played about half of this thing,
Right.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
It-
But you know, that's pretty normal, I think. I like the way there's kind of 2 I guess adventures that are done. One of them is like on rails, almost by scene. You go here, 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 and there's not a lot of variation per group. You just kind of go, okay, we're gonna go here. And in that case, you do the whole thing. Most of the Wizards modules seem to be really open-ended,
Okay.
which is nice because you can. Nobody's ever written a module or adventure. I'm like, all of this is awesome.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So it lets you kind of pick and choose and go, I think half of this is awesome, half of it's I'll run them through the half I think is awesome. Or kind of point around and, you know.
Did you let us kind of drive where we were going to go in terms of which stronghold?
Yeah.
Okay.
entirely.
Okay.
So we went to
you-
Grudhaug just because.
You went to Grudhaug first, the hill giant.
That was the one I think you kind of
I
directed
did
us
that.
in the-
I directed you there
Okay.
first because again, it was low enough
Okay.
level that you guys could do it a little early at 7th, and it gets one of them out of the way. Then I figured the other you could pick between 2 of the other 4, and those were your choices.
That was
I just,
that was really fun. And you played the Giants great.
Right. Yes.
Complete with figurines.
So let's talk about a little bit about the airship. So in the campaign,
Airship?
it says a red dragon sends it over to us, but you changed it up according to the storyline because we had already met.
you had already met with the
Gnawbones.
Gnawbones, old
Yes.
Gnawbones. So why is another dragon going to get involved? I don't know. I just, Gnawbones you already had went and talked to and prostrated yourself in front of so she would
Yeah,
meet
you did.
Right.
So I figured, she's better to help you out than, this other red dragon that doesn't know you don't know them.
Now I'm really curious. What if I'd gotten this rod from a fire giant we killed, and the rod. What if we all said we're going to follow the tug of the rod that would get these different parts of this
Stop it.
artifact? What would you have done? I was curious about that because that's
I
another
probably-
adventure too.
I probably would have made it so painstakingly boring that
Yeah.
you eventually do
Oh,
it.
okay.
Or, I don't know, something else.
I didn't think I thought you had made it up, but it is in
It's in
the
there.
campaign, and so a DM could
Oh,
draw the narrative, a story from it. But I'm actually glad you didn't because this was
Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't seem to. One of the interesting things on this is all the giants have their own kind of agenda, have their own thing they're trying to do to become the bestest giantess, ever. And you can get really derailed on it, going, "Oh, they've got this plot to do this. We must stop that."
I was really
But
worried
they're
about the
all
fire
kind of
giants. but it
they're all
didn't
kind
matter.
of red herrings.
right.
Kind of pipe dreams. So it took a little effort on occasion to try and get you guys off of that back to something relevant. I mean, you really could, if you wanted, if you're a DM, you could just go, "Oh, I'm gonna just take it that direction and be fine."
Uh,
I didn't want to,
So speaking of red herrings,
so
and
you
then,
didn't get to.
so speaking of red herrings and the party getting bogged down in minutia and just not figuring it
When?
out multiple times. I think that happened to a lot of us when we were trying to recover this talisman because the oracle wanted us to find these artifacts for each type of giant, and one was the one with the elk. We had to go to the elk temple or.
Yes, that was a great one.
Yes.
Or you can go elk hunting.
I really
Yes,
like
so-
that one.
So
No,
one
it's-
of it is if you could give the
So, well,
background.
no, it's
before-
just you guys are trying to go and get the was it giant artifacts to bring back to the oracle and stuff.
Yeah.
and that was our mission to get these specific artifacts to bring back to
Yeah,
the oracle.
yeah.
And the oracle would give us more information.
Yes, and it's one of those things when you're reading through one of the best parts about DMing, if you're running, especially if you're running a prepared adventure, there are all these little throwaway things in there, like when's this ever going to happen? For instance, at the elk shrine, if there's an elk nearby, and if you shoot it, you are cursed. And reading through, I'm like, who's going to shoot an elk?
Right.
Well, as it turns out, sometimes
Uh,
somebody who has a bad
Right.
influence,
So-
a chaotic neutral influence, saying you should do this, will shoot
Right.
an elk and get cursed, and it is hilarious.
Right. So we had to find this artifact, and we got to this this kind of I don't know what you call it, a shrine.
It's a shrine. We had to activate the shrine.
Right, but we didn't know
Yeah.
how to do that because it's
Well-
not clear. There was a altar there. We didn't know what to do.
There were.
We tried to read runes that we didn't understand.
There were pictures of barbarians hunting
Right.
all over the place.
Right, and that's how, because there were pictures of barbarians hunting, Paul here had a great idea.
Paul, chaotic neutral Paul.
Chaotic neutral Paul.
Paul's idea was you should do this.
You should shoot an elk.
So I did. And then the curse happened.
Yes, the curse happened.
And
It
then-
wasn't so bad though.
Yeah.
No, it
it was
wasn't so
funny.
bad.
It was totally worth it.
well, it wasn't
But
funny
yeah,
at
those
the time.
shrines were one of
It was
the.
great.
The shrines were a little bit of a weak point for me, in that really, they're kind of there's the shrines and the artifacts are buried under the shrines. So you have to like destroy the shrine and dig. and there's no real clue to tell you that. And the first one you ran into, I changed around, so I had the whole ceremony thing you did, where they came in and there was I gave them like a riddle on the side of the shrine.
Okay.
And that was the one where you had to turn the skulls inward towards the
Oh,
shrine,
okay.
the totem skulls for the gods of the barbarian tribes. And at midnight, and and it slid open, and the ancestors came out, and all this stuff. So I think you're expecting stuff like that for the others you got to, and you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
well, you need to dig, but I can't tell you that, and then you leave, and like, okay, so that was a bit of a. It isn't obvious that hey, you need to destroy this thing and dig under it.
Well,
So-
it's like destroying, even as a kid, like neutral character, destroying a shrine seems like it's going to have a negative impact
Yeah.
on what you're
Right.
trying to do.
So you
my
have to have
suggestion, if you're going to run this, is come up with more creative ways of finding the artifacts at the shrines, because that really threw you guys, and it threw me because I was kind of not expecting you to stand around and go, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then I'm like looking,
Right.
that
Let's
actually
shoot
really
an elk.
doesn't just tell you what to do, does it?
Okay, so fast forward, we find the conchs, and we get to the maelstrom, and so this is what I thought. I thought we would get to the maelstrom, and that would be the
Well,
end of it.
first
and it
you
wasn't.
you had to go get the conchs
Right.
from the giant storm.
Right,
Yeah.
which we
Before
did.
you got to the maelstrom.
Right. So when we got the conchs, we went to the maelstrom. We thought there would be this climactic battle and be over, but it wasn't.
But wait.
But wait,
Oh,
there's
wait,
more.
more.
So Hecaton's gone, and this is the underlying story about this, because his daughters, one daughter is set up to be the next heir, the other two don't like that at all, and plot against the sister. Sarissa, I think her name is.
So
Yes.
Cinderella-like.
It is kind of Cinderella-like,
It's
except they're
King
giants
Lear-like.
and lightning. But and they're also being influenced by a blue dragon from all this.
Unbeknownst.
Now that we're there, we first met Emerith when she was killing Harshnag.
Yes.
And did we learn her name at that point? Because I think that
I
we
don't
did.
remember. See,
I
that's,
think that we did, and
I
and
think
I
you
missed
did.
it.
I think you did. In fact,
Later
I'm
in the
sure of
night
it.
when you were already 3 sheets.
Yeah. Well, and again, this is for my next campaign, keeping good track of information and really pre-planning. By the time they get here, I better have crossed off all these things I've told them would really help, because you should have known more than I told you by the time you got to Maelstrom. So you would have expected, a little, better idea what to expect.
So because we spent a lot of time on this, I want to kind of go down to the kind of the good and bad, and maybe some of the other like side things that maybe threw us off or was interesting of this total campaign. So one of the things I want to ask you is, now the campaign book gives you great tables for rolling treasure and all that kind of stuff. Did you come up with it, or did you do the rolling? For example, Rebecca, you had like 3 magical axes as a barbarian. That's great. You had a giant slaying axe.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so I did a mix. Most of it I just pre-rolled off the charts, except for the things where there were some special magic items that were new in there. And then I made up a few of my own that I wanted to hand out. One of them was Big Feller, the Giant Slayer axe. The Rogue's was a rapier.
Oh,
No, that was rolled. I actually,
The Cloak of Many Eyes, I believe. Right?
yeah, something like that. But he had Life Zipper, his rapier.
Life Zipper?
Zipper.
Life Zipper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There were a few I made up. Your Boots and Knocking. I actually read
That's
about
just
those.
what's
I read about those on the internet, and somebody has to have these in my game. But mostly I just rolled stuff. I actually like the idea of rolling most of your magical treasure and stuff instead of tailoring it to the characters. Like, because then when you have a character, you kind of have to go, well, what's out there in the world. I should be able to do those things if I get a magic item. It's so you don't specialize too far.
Right.
Like, if it's all tailored, you can go, I'm going to be a yo-yo master, and I know the DM's going to give me a +2 yo-yo at some point.
God, I want a +2 yo-yo.
Because that's all I can use.
Right.
So I like the idea that you should be well-rounded enough if you get things to go, well, this isn't the one thing I chose to use in my life, so I should be able to use
Well,
this.
it was really good to have that giant slang axe. It was kind of because it kind of fit with the campaign.
Yeah.
Rebecca, I
Yeah.
think you
That
love
one I
that giant
got.
sling
the
axe, right?
armor and the ring of protection.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
boots and knocking. It was set up.
So what did you change? I mean, was there a lot of things that you changed of Storm King's Thunder? Do you felt that the way it was written it gave you a lot of flexibility?
I didn't change that much, but it does give you a lot of flexibility. Mostly, I think what I did, I ignored a bunch of stuff. Like, nah, I don't need to do this, I don't need to do that. Or I really expanded on a bunch of things. For the most part, though, I ran it mostly as is.
There was a couple things that it was just so sad that we couldn't get to that storyline as I read this, because you just don't do it. You make choices.
Yeah.
The party makes choices. DMs makes choices. One that's in the campaign is you meeting with the silver dragon that warns the party about the rock that at this. Remember the stone giant's stronghold?
Uh-huh.
Oh, the
Well,
rock,
had we
yes.
have met a silver dragon at a certain inn, we would have known about that rock, and I
Yeah.
thought that would have been interesting. And the opportunity that we did not go to the cloud giant stronghold, where we could have rescued a brass dragon, I thought was
Yeah, Felglos,
pretty
and
cool.
that was, but again, I mean, it was kind of your choice on
Sure.
Stronghold. Barry had really set up Felglos as an NPC in the campaign before we hit Storm King's Thunder, and I took over.
That's right. I remember that.
So I was kind of like reading, you're not, here's Felglos, and I
Yeah, and he was
almost
pushing his cloud giants around,
everybody.
too.
Well, when Barry was running it, it was the start of a new campaign, and there was a lot of churn in players.
Yeah.
So like there weren't a lot of players left from his portion of it when we started playing, and it really kind of equaled out to the same 5 people every week. So there wasn't much left. Many people that remembered Felglos from the earlier part of the campaign. So that wasn't. But yeah, I was like, yeah, they should rescue Felglos, but he didn't.
We didn't do that.
We're
So,
bad people.
so overall, Storm King's Thunder, you know, like you said, you've played since the 70s. You've played all these modules. You probably played against the Giants. In
Yeah.
terms of this particular campaign, Storm King's Thunder, what did you think of it overall?
Overall, I liked it if you're not looking for a module or adventure that you're like, I'm going to run this right as is. If you're looking for ideas, it's a great sandbox. I like that it's not an end of the world module. Like, oh, if we fail, the world goes away. Like
Right,
some
right,
are.
yeah.
I don't like those, and this is like a big thing, but it's not quite that. It's got some soft points, but for the most part, you can kind of like the parts I didn't like, I just didn't use.
And
It was easy enough, and
That's
it's
cool.
like in the parts I liked, I used, and the parts I thought were too thin on an idea I liked, I just expanded. So it's good for that.
now, any type of review we do with anything we do in Geeks of Cascade, we also like to include maybe things that could have been improved. Was there anything in the campaign that was written that you felt that was weak, that could have been improved?
Yes.
I'm guessing it's the last part with the battle with Imarith.
Well, yeah. So the last part of the battle with Imarith, I had no idea kind of how to gauge it. Imarith is like CR 21 or something.
Right.
Huge, and really it came down to you get to tag along. It's the Storm Giants that kill her, just because. You guys are making DC 20 fear saves. I think only 2 of you actually ever made a fear save before she was dead.
Yeah.
But the Giants, bam, 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 they took her
Right.
down. I probably, if I were to do it again, would have given me 3 Giants. That might have drugged things out a bit.
That was super fun for me though, handing out those little cards. We all have a giant buddy.
Yeah, no,
That was
that
really
part
fun.
was
Right.
fun.
I
I
liked
didn't
that a lot.
actually, the earlier, like the Golden Fields one, you also could have done played one of the NPCs there. Remember some of those
Right.
NPCs that were with you?
It's,
I didn't do it there, but I did it with the Giants, just because I figured it was really the Giants are going to be tough for you guys.
So in Storm King's Thunder, you do have, just letting the listeners know, that you have the option of going after Imarith, which is the ancient blue dragon, which is causing all this chaos and mayhem. And so in the campaign, as Steve, you were saying, you get to, you have storm giants with you while you're battling Imarith, the ancient blue dragon. But in a way, I agree with you, Steve. It was a little bit of overkill. You have storm giants that are immune to lightning, and you're going against a blue dragon. Pretty much, it's right there. You're getting a little bit of advantage. Plus, you got,
Wanted us all to have a buddy.
well, plus you got the king of the storm giants with you. One thing that an option in the book, and Steve, you can tell me if maybe that's a better way for if you are DM or DMing adventures through this, is maybe perhaps it says in here that the adventurers themselves just take on Imarith, but then if it's going badly, bring in Harshnag at the end to kind of save the day and to balance it out if it goes badly.
Yeah, you know, if you didn't have those Giants there, though, it would have gone badly for you very
That's true. We probably would
very
have died.
quickly.
So you're saying
Yeah,
go with maybe fewer storm
yeah,
giants.
2 or 3 storm giants. There's still probably going to be the storm giants. If the battle would have lasted longer, some more you could have really got into it. You're still not going to do a lot to it because you're 11th level and CR 21.
Right.
I think I would have, if I were to do it again tomorrow, I would juggle some things around, find more ways for you to make you guys a little more effective against her, reduce the amount of storm giants, and play with it that way. But otherwise, it was kind of overbearing. But it was still fun. I mean,
For
you're
a
still
whole,
this
for a
is
whole
like
week
the
or two before, I
Well,
was
the-
just
yeah.
freaking out because my character was going to die.
I thought about it for weeks, but how are we going to defeat this guy?
I thought we were gonna die. I straight up
was
thought we're gonna
trying
Is
die.
that
to-
why you wanted to buy new
Well,
armor? She would look good.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
I did, and I thought Steve, you know, as you as a DM went, okay, you got through this, and I'm just gonna kill you. Now, obviously, it
thought
sounds like
crossed my mind.
it sounds like you kind of recommend this to the listeners out there that this might be a good adventure to run if you're a DM to run people through. Players, what'd you guys think?
My first campaign, I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought both Barry and Steve were great DMs. I was engaged the whole time.
What about the campaign itself, the
The cam-
storyline and everything? What'd you think?
Compared to all the other men you've played.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, you played through the Scourge of the Sword of Hell.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple points where we were certainly lost, and he couldn't tell us anything, and because either we weren't paying attention to things,
To me, I just found that I
or
found
paying
those
too much
as
attention to
learning
something.
experiences because
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. So
Okay, I'm gonna just write this
Yeah.
hint
Right.
on this post-it note, put it on my head, and tell
Thought it
you
was
that.
fun.
Good. You enjoyed it.
I did. I totally did. I didn't really even get when we were meandering exactly. It was kind of hard to keep track of like we're gonna get these 5 artifacts and then we're gonna get these 5 because I wasn't taking
So
notes
you
and
were
I wasn't.
totally into the storyline. You
I
felt
was
like
even
this
when
is
we're
part.
Yeah.
doing whatever saddle thing. I was
Right.
just like, this is cool, and I was learning how to play. So I was watching what you guys.
So
did.
both of you are new to D&D. This is your first time.
Brand
So
spanking
overall, I mean, do you recommend this campaign to new players?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And because there's so many options and so many different kinds of things you get to do.
Right. Good. Good. Well, I've played many times. Been playing D&D for a while, and I really
how long?
thoroughly
Since
enjoyed it.
79?
Too long, yes, a little, actually, slightly before that, but I really enjoyed it. I loved the campaign; it was really good. The only downside was the Imarith. It was really fast, but I got to do the killing blows, so that
You
was
did.
really cool. That I got to say I
And-
killed a dragon in Dungeons and Dragons to actually kill a dragon.
Not
And
just
you
a dragon
rolled-
like a dragon. this way.
Right, an ancient dragon.
Yeah.
And you rolled a boatload of crits sitting in that
I did.
seat.
I rolled a lot
I
of crits.
need to
But
get your
overall,
dice and
steal my dice.
disappear them.
But overall, this is a well-written campaign, and if you go and look at the reviews of this, it is amazing. So my hat's off to Wizards of the Coast, Chris Perkins, Mike Merles, Jeremy Crawford, and the rest of you who put this together. An excellent campaign. I highly recommend it. I think we all give it a thumbs up. Let's do it. All right.
Who's got
So
2 thumbs
I.
and love the campaign?
That's right.
This.
So I think that's all we got. I think
Think
with
so,
that,
yeah.
let's sign off and go maybe play some board games before we dive into the next campaign, which
White
is
Plume Mountain.
White Plume Mountain.
Yeah.
Now,
We-
White Plum.
That's right.
White Plume.
That's right. White Plume, which will
Difference in
take us a
dragons.
couple
You'll
of
have to change it.
sessions.
White
There
Plum
you go.
Candy Mountain.
Ah. So with that, catch you guys later on the next Behind the DM screen.
All right. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and review of Storm King's Thunder. I hope you get to go out and play it with your group. It was really fun. And I think that's all we have going on. I don't know what was in the outro anymore. So I'm just going to say, embrace the nerd, and I hope you make that saving throw.